welcome to the Rob Burgess Show. I'm, of course, your host, Rob Burgess. On this, our 162nd episode, our returning guest is Jonathan Fowler. You first heard Jonathan Fowler on episodes 2, 10, 20, 21, 29, 30, 31, 32, 34, 35, 43, 48, 51, 56, 64, 74, 83, 92, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 111, 114, 115, 116, 119, 126, 127, 133, 137, 140, 146, 147, 149, 153, 156, 158, 160, and episode 82, also featuring fellow regular guest Ash Burgess of the podcast. Jonathan graduated with a BA in History from Indiana University in 2006. He is an unabashed left-wing political junkie. He has lived and worked in South Korea for over 10 years, trying to help the citizens of that great nation hopefully talk pretty one day. Short programming note. We recorded this episode on Sunday, March 22nd. On Monday, March 23rd, Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb issued a stay-at-home order for the next 2 weeks. And on Tuesday, March 24th, the 2020 Olympics were officially postponed until 2021. And now on to the show. How's it going in Korea?
No, surviving. Yeah, how are you guys doing there? It sounds like it's getting pretty bad with the coronavirus in America.
Yeah, I think we're starting to get a little taste of what you guys have been going through for the last couple months here. We're about to get a crash course. The last week has been absolutely insane. Just one thing after another. And honestly, I've seen it coming because I've been paying attention to what's happened in other parts of the world. So I didn't think there was any reason it couldn't happen here. So I started getting ready a couple weeks ago, but I only wish I had started earlier now. So
yeah. Have you been stocking up on toilet paper?
Among other things, sure. Not. I mean, it's an amount that we would have used anyway. It was not like a truckload that we're gonna try to arbitrage on the internet or something.
Yeah, we've got shortages of masks over here. The masks are being rationed, but otherwise, I don't know. I haven't gone out to any supermarkets or anything to see how the shelves are, but I think things we haven't had too many shortages except for masks.
Mm-hmm. See, I knew that I'm more on the wavelength of I'm not as scared of the thing itself as the panic surrounding it, and that's mostly why I tried to get ready, because I knew that once people realized that this wasn't a Democratic hoax or whatever, that then they would start to really get crazy. So I just I just kind of took it at face value when people were still kind of, why is this a big deal? So
yeah, it's I don't know, it's gonna suck. I don't know what it's gonna do to the I'm worried about the economy in the future. I mean, obviously humans now, but I don't know, the economy is we had a recession last time. I'm not so sure we won't have a depression this time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's different than anything we've ever experienced either, because in some ways, it is obviously much worse than 2008. In some ways, it's also worse than the Depression because it's all happening so fast. I've heard it pointed out that the Depression didn't really get ramped up for a little while, and even though you had similar maybe unemployment numbers, it didn't happen as a shock to the system. It was more of a rolling thing that happened over the course of a couple of years, and it got very bad, obviously, and it looks like it's going to get even worse, at least in the short term here now. But this is happening so very quickly that people haven't had time to prepare. So
yeah, I guess, I mean, the good part about it is somebody could discover a cure tomorrow and they could start producing it, and then within whatever amount of time it would take to produce and distribute that, which I'm not saying would be a short time, but within some amount of time we could start expecting the economy to actually get back to normal. So
yeah, I mean, as soon as restaurants open back up, that industry is going to be back to where it was, and maybe even more so, because people are going to be so wanting to get out of their houses. So I'm sure that would Although that's probably, unless there is like an actual cure, that would probably start another outbreak, unless they figured out how to like have a vaccine for it at that point. So who knows? But I mean, China seems to be, I think they had no new cases for the first time since it started the other day. So they seem like they've got at least a handle on it. I don't know, how is South Korea doing now with it?
Um, we're down to less than most days of the last week. We've had fewer than 100 new cases per day,
Mm,
which is obviously the number's still increasing, but they think that this is a manageable increase. So
mm, mm.
there were 1 or 2 days. I think Wednesday it spiked up to about 150 though.
Oh wow. Yeah, see, just overnight here in Indiana, we had something like 70 new cases. Now there's over 200 in the state, so we had 4 deaths.
Hmm.
So it's
Yeah,
getting,
my brother was he has a fever now, and he seems to be getting over it. And he was trying to get checked out and get it tested and stuff, and they said, well, fill out this form or something. And so the form had a whole bunch of questions on it, like, and apparently one of the questions was like, have you had direct contact with another confirmed patient?
uh-huh,
And he's like, well, how would I know that? You guys aren't
right?
really performing the tests in Indiana yet, so it's like, you know. But fortunately, he seems to be on the mend. So, but it's a really shitty time to catch a regular fever here right now, obviously.
Yeah, believe me, you don't want to cough in public these days.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's kind of like in class or something. If somebody sniffles or coughs or sneezes, we're like, is that a corona sneeze? Is that a corona cough?
Oh, so you're still, that was my next question. So you're still teaching?
Yeah, I think a lot of the kids' hagwons have been shut down temporarily. Like one of my friends over here, he's been on vacation for 3 weeks. Of course, he can't really go anywhere, but he doesn't have to work. And in theory, all employees are supposed to be paid like 70% of their regular salary during times like these. But
Mm-hmm.
it sounds like his school wanted them to all sign a paper that would say like, I will be getting 3 weeks of unpaid vacation right now or something, and he refused to sign it. But it sounds like most of the other employees did. So,
Wow.
but yeah, I'm teaching adults, and we're still going.
Hmm.
You know, I've had, a lot of students come to me and say things like, "Oh, I'm going to take some time off and this and that." And, I just have to let them go. I have to say, "Yeah, do what's best for you." I mean, obviously I want our business to continue to be profitable or whatever and stay in business and stuff. And I don't like losing students, but it's like I'm certainly not going to tell like somebody who's in their 60s or something, "No, no, no, we're okay. Keep coming to our school." Like yada yada yada. I can't make them any guarantees, and I'd obviously feel pretty horrible if they died or something if there was an outbreak here for some reason. But
Sure.
so yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, all the
But
schools in Indiana are closed through the beginning of May at minimum. So,
yeah, I've never seen anything like this in my life, and I think probably most Americans haven't.
no, I don't think so at all.
Yeah, 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 the sports stuff. Like, I mean, just like canceling entire season of
Oh yeah,
basketball and baseball, right? I mean, like
NBA, yeah, it's over.
nothing like we've never done that before. This is uncharted territory. I mean, like 9/11, wars, nothing else has ever, done this. But yeah,
No.
it's so weird.
Yeah, the Olympics are still happening. Is that right? Do I have that right?
Oh, Japan wants them to, but I think I saw a headline somewhere today that secretly Japan's Olympic organizers are preparing for a situation where it gets delayed,
Hmm.
which I think it will. I mean, I don't, nobody's trying to have like international gatherings right now, so.
No, not at all. So, it's been so frustrating to watch the Trumpian response and also his minions' responses to all this. I mean, it's just been insane because it's like he says like at the beginning that it's a hoax. It's just there to make me look bad. It's all under control. It's like you're not gonna talk this thing down. You can't give it a cute nickname on Twitter and have it go away. So it's like finally he, for whatever reason, I guess Tucker Carlson had some sort of intervention and told him
Hmm.
it was serious, and now it's like he's Mr. War President, and apparently people are buying it because his approval numbers are now above 50% as far as like his handling of the situation. We'll see how that holds as things progress, but it's just upsetting to people. People want things to be normal. That's just the bias people have. It's normalcy bias. It's like even if things are totally messed up and it's totally obvious why. And you mentioned the testing. That's what we're not doing here. Like you're right. The CDC requirements are insane, and we need to do what South Korea did because they found out from what I've read that by testing everyone, that people our age are we're mostly asymptomatic, but we're super contagious, and we're the ones that are spreading it around to people. But we're not getting tested in America because we don't fit the criteria, and nobody's even like counting cases of those, undiagnosed ones that don't show signs. And even the one, like you said, the ones who do show signs, it's like, did you have contact with a person? And then I saw people online being like, I've been tested positive, so if you need to say that you've been in contact with someone and you've been in contact with me, use me as a reference. It's like, that's where we are in America. You have to use a sick person as a reference to get a test. And I don't know if that's, but just maddening.
It's when they poll people and you get these ridiculous poll numbers where people are like, oh, Trump's doing a good job with this crisis. It's like, these people have, I don't know, are they media illiterate? Do they have like the attention span of a gnat or a goldfish or something? I mean, like, one fact that I learned last week, and I didn't realize it last week because I thought this stuff had started in America later than it did in Korea, but I learned this. I think this may be one of the most important facts for people to know in America, which is that the first case arrived in America and arrived in South Korea on the same day, which was January 20th. Wow. And so everything that's happened after January 20th and whatever happened before then too, to some degree, as far as, just hearing about this thing and preparing for it or whatever, both countries had the same knowledge base to start out with. And you can say, okay, yeah, America has like 6 times as much population as Korea does. But Korea's got ridiculous levels of population density. You've got hundreds of people packed into, apartment complexes door to door. It's like, there have been some unique challenges to this country too, I think. So, but as far as like taking this thing seriously, getting the tests ready, doing the testing, making the testing, something that you can do where you can just drive up to a drive-through thing, which is probably uniquely appealing to our fast food president, although I don't know how it's going to be implemented in America.
It's already in some places in New York State. I think in New Rochelle, I heard there was one, and I think in other places they're starting to get that up and running, but it's late, real late.
Yeah. I mean, the CDC, whatever they did where they turned down, somebody internationally was offering them, the test, right? And they said, no, we're developing our own test. And then they tried to roll it out and it didn't work or something. And then they like tried to roll out a properly working test finally, but then there were like bottlenecks in, distributing that or something. It's just like, I don't understand that. Somebody has a test. Why do you turn that down? Like, is it a matter of like you've got domestic companies that you want to make a profit off of this or something by developing the test for themselves and distributing it exclusively or something? Like, what kind of bureaucratic red tape makes an organization concerned with people's safety say, we don't want your test, we're going to do our own, and we don't have it yet, but we're going to make it? Like, I don't know. It's mind-boggling.
Well, Trump tried to go to Germany to buy, forget what he was trying to buy. Maybe it was tests, or maybe it was like a cure or something. Like he was trying to buy from Germany or something. And they were like, no, we're not going to give it. But he wanted it just for America. That was what the thing was. It was like, you give it to me and no one else. It's like that's where we are right now. We're trying to like, who can edge in faster. It's not like, oh my gosh, we're all humans, let's figure this out. It's like, never let a crisis go to waste. It's like, it's ridiculous. And I knew that he was going to use this somehow to try to get what he want. And I don't know if you saw that Bill Barr is now looking to suspend certain parts of the Constitution during this, and it's probably not going to happen because of the House has to approve it or something. But it's just here we go. It's like we knew this was going to happen. How we're going to use this? Let's deny it until it's undeniable, and once it's undeniable, let's use it to our full advantage and not actually try to solve it. So.
Yeah. Any idea which parts of the Constitution? I'm assuming maybe the First Amendment.
I think it has to do with holding people without charges. I think it's like suspending habeas corpus, I think is the idea. Let me look here. I was reading about it last night. Yeah, and I guess Abraham Lincoln did that during the Civil War, but that was a different situation. I mean, we were fighting an actual war during against an army. So I think that, even if you had qualms about that, at least you could make that argument. DOJ asked Congress to craft legislation allowing chief judges to indefinitely hold people without trial and suspend other constitutionally protected rights during coronavirus and other emergencies.
Well, obviously, like, nobody should give Donald Trump any more power than he already has. But I don't know. I do think, like, I mean, like, I heard there was a case in Kentucky where this guy had been diagnosed with coronavirus, but he, like, walked out of the hospital and went home, and, like, they couldn't arrest him. And so the, like, sheriff deputies had to, like, go and surround his house and make sure he never left his house or something. And it's like, yeah, you can do that in one case, and that sends a message, I guess. But you can't, obviously, if there's we've got a nation of rugged individuals out there who maybe don't want to stay home, and we don't have enough sheriff deputies to do that to everybody, right? So it's like,
yeah,
maybe that guy, does belong in jail, although, maybe he doesn't belong in jail because jails are breeding grounds for this. And actually, I've heard that Iran released their entire jail population, basically, or something, and said,
wow.
You're all free to go right now because we don't want to keep you in this place where it's going to incubate the disease, but you may have to come back later. It's like, wow, that's just bizarre.
That is crazy. Yeah, I don't know we'd ever do that in America. So.
Yeah. Well, I think I don't know what's to be said about all this. It's just like.
Well, I mean, what's to be said is that, I don't think people want to be perceived, at least I don't, as just blaming everything on Trump. Like, I don't blame Trump for the virus itself. Obviously, I even thought even maybe if it was too late, belatedly, he did try to do, a travel ban from parts of China or whatever during the initial stages. Maybe that was good. I want to give him credit for that, I guess, but that was an obvious step to take, and it was obvious for him in particular to take, obviously, Mr. Close the Borders. But everything since then has been a total man-made disaster, and, it's not been helpful. He has these press briefings that are completely fact and information free, not helpful, crash the stock market every single time he talks. It's like it would be better if he was just like in bed, just sleeping during this time, just taking a nap. That would actually be better for everyone, because the governors are the ones that are actually stepping up and doing his job for him, which is great if you have a good governor. If you have a governor like in Florida, Ron DeSantis, who won't close the beaches. I don't even know if they're closed yet. They might not be closed till Monday, I heard. So, I mean, if your governor's good or at least understands the threat, well, fine then. But, like, this is what happens when you don't have a strong leader who has a plan and sticks to it. You have this patchwork of things to cover the same issue, and this virus doesn't care what state you're in. And spring break just is finishing now, and welcome back, super spreaders. Like, and this is why this is going to get out of control. We don't have enough masks, we don't have enough ventilators, we don't have enough tests, and we're not moving with the proper urgency that we need to. Still, even now, even when the threat is obvious, and I don't see, and we're only going to have to do more later because we're doing less now. It's not like we get to not do it at all because we're not doing it now. It's just we're delaying the pain and we're making it worse. So this is going to last for a lot longer than people think or are prepared for. But I don't know. It could have been prevented easily.
Yeah. Well, like, and to be totally, like, unnecessarily fair to Trump. Yeah, I mean, this thing could have happened under any president, and it would have been a disastrous situation no matter who the president was. Of course,
Absolutely.
I mean, but it really does depend on what kind of steps the president takes. Like, you know, and in South Korea, like, I mean, we've got a left-wing president, and he did a partial travel ban on, China just from the part of Wuhan or whatever. But
Hmm.
like by the time they locked down Wuhan, like 5 million Wuhan citizens was already distributed across China, basically. And so he got a lot of criticism and stuff from the conservative media here, saying that he was too friendly to China, too deferential to China, and everything, and was mishandling it. And there were like petitions on the Blue House website over here, like calling for him to be removed and stuff. And but then, like, here we are, like a month later almost, and it's like, oh, actually, South Korea handled things about as well as any country in the world, and is now like an international model for how to do it. It's like,
Hmm.
oh, oops, oh, sorry, okay, we'll impeach you next time.
Oh, that's really funny. Yeah, it's funny because we don't think about those divisions. At least I don't think the average American does. We just hear South Korea did good, and like we're like, oh, okay, all South Korea was on board then. Okay, great.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's been a disappointment for many of his domestic critics here in Korea, I think, for President Moon. So,
Uh-huh.
but yeah, I was personally disappointed because we've had, a lot of stuff going on in the family. I got a nephew who's over a year old now that I haven't seen yet, and we'd negotiated last year with my boss to get a vacation at the beginning of this year for a month and go back and meet my nephew. And I've got some elderly family members who have had some illnesses. We had a death in the family on my mom's side here this past month, and we had another death on my dad's side down in North Carolina last year. There's a lot of family stuff that I'm not there for, and so there was a lot of things that I needed to do, and I was planning to come back to America next month, and I had even bought the ticket,
Mm.
and we had all the classes figured out who was going to be teaching them while I was gone and everything. And but I talked to my mom and dad last week, and they said, "Well, Jonathan, it looks like it's getting bad, and also, some older members of our family are immunocompromised, and so it's
Wow.
really there couldn't be a worse time to come back and stuff." And
Yeesh.
so, like between Monday and Tuesday, I canceled the ticket.
Oh man.
So,
I'm
and
sorry to hear that. We were looking forward to seeing you, but yeah, I understand. It's totally understandable, but yeah, it totally is sucks.
yeah, yeah, it's but and it would have been weird coming back to America because at the time I was thinking like people are going to be giving me shit like, oh, you're from Korea, oh, you're like basically from ground zero. But it's like, yeah, but I've been living here in this stuff for 2 months and I'm not sick. So, it's like, but now it's like, if I went back now, people would be like, you from Korea? Take me back with you. They're just kind of like this kind of thing, probably.
Yeah, right.
And in Korea, like, I mean, just to go over some of the stuff that they have, and I mean, the Korean system is not perfect, but basically, if you're not working, um, some, basically, I think if you're self-employed or something like that, I think the government has to give you some amount of money, or if you get if you get quarantined, the government will give you money, like 1,000 up to like $450 a month or $1,000 a month, depending on your family size and stuff. Or if you're employed at a company and you're self quarantined, if you have to be quarantined, then your company has to pay you some amount
Mm.
of money. So basically, I mean, some people are complaining a little bit like, oh, it's taxpayer money and stuff or whatever. You've always got those people in society, but it's like
Mhm.
the government is properly incentivizing people to do the right thing
Yeah.
because, people, somebody said somewhere like a person can be smart, but people are stupid. It's like, and it's
Mhm.
not even just that. It's like, some people can't, you know, quarantine, can't self, they got to work, they got to put money on the table, food on the table or whatever
Yeah.
and stuff. And, some jobs are essential or whatever. So
Mhm.
it's, you know, but the government has properly incentivized people to actually quarantine when they're supposed to quarantine to get, to get it, to herd all the cats and get them all doing the right thing at the right time, basically.
Right.
Um, and I'm trying to think, what was the other thing? The other thing, oh yeah, yeah, testing in Korea. I think like, I don't know, you might have to pay like $100 out of pocket. I could be wrong about that. It might be totally free,
Huh.
but
But it's
insurance
possible
covers
if
the
you
rest
want
of it.
one, you can get it. You don't have to have certain preconditions, right?
Yeah, well, I haven't tried to get one yet, but yeah, it seems like, yeah,
But
you
if
can
you
get
wanted
one.
one, you could pay some money and get one now, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you go in and you say you've got a fever or you got some symptoms or something, I imagine they would test you.
You don't have to like know somebody who knows somebody or whatever the
No,
requirement here. Huh.
no. If you're showing any symptoms, they want to know. So,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
you don't
and
go to
that's
the.
another thing that's been frustrating too with these celebrities to watch is, we have, Tom Hanks and his wife getting coronavirus, which was a shock. I think honestly, we're going to look back when the history is written of this. That is going to be a
Mhm.
turning point where people are like, "What?" So I think like the skeptics were really, it's like one of the most recognizable actors and his wife have it, and they were in Australia, apparently asymptomatic or having very mild symptoms, or just could have mistaken it for any normal cold or flu. But they got a test. If you're rich and famous, you get a test. Like if you're a politician, you get a test. What about people, the normal people? Like you have to like apparently be on the certain echelon of people, and somehow these people get tested. It's curious.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, they were in Australia, and I'm not sure what Australia's policies are, but
Sure,
yeah,
fair enough. But there have been other celebrities who have like Idris
yeah, in
Elba.
America.
Also, he found out he was positive. I think he
Well,
did
he's
know somebody
British.
that did. That's true, and he also did know somebody that also tested positive, so that probably helped his case. But I'm saying there are other celebrities I've heard about that,
Yeah,
professional athletes also. So,
yeah, yeah.
of course, there was
Well,
that one
yeah,
basketball player that touched all the microphones and then caused the NBA to be shut down.
yeah. I heard about that, and I think I saw it and stuff, and
Uh,
it was like, and then they tested him, and he was positive, right?
yeah, and he infected his
Like,
teammates. I mean, we
yeah.
don't. I guess we don't know he infected him, but his teammates were infected, and they said he was being handsy, which he was being in the press conference. But I guess it would have been inevitable they would have shut it down anyway. But it's like you see these little flashes of, oh, get him, get that one guy. Like the guy. Did you read that New York Times story about the guy that went through like every Dollar General and Family Dollar in like 2 states and like got like all the hand sanitizer and wipes and stuff and had like a garage full, but now he's been shut down by all the like the online retailers for like price gouging, and like he has like a whole warehouse of stuff that he doesn't know what to do with because like he can't apparently sell any of this anywhere, and people are like in desperate need.
Yeah. Well, I imagine he could, maybe not online or something, but I imagine there's ways,
Oh, I'm
you
sure he
know.
could upload it. Not now that he's been in the New York Times. I think he had to end up giving it all away just due to the public outcry. But I think if he'd been a little quieter about it, he probably could have get something done.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. If he underpriced it a little bit,
Sure.
maybe he could repair some of the damage or whatever.
Oh
But
yeah.
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 So, I'm trying to think what else is, yeah, South Korea is doing basically. They have the drive-in things where you can, obviously you just drive through and get tested and get your results the next day, I suppose. Yeah, we've had several cases nearby here. I've got a woman in one of my classes who is a pharmacist, and apparently the 14th patient in South Korea uh, came to her and her husband's pharmacy, and her husband was working at that time, so they were both exposed. So she took a month off. She's been gone for 2 months now,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a case near this company I work at. I teach at a company, and I ride a bus up to the company. It takes about 10 minutes on the bus and stuff, not too long. But there was a case halfway between here and there, and in an office building, and then there were a couple of, you know, uh, probably a couple of spin-off cases from that one and stuff. But so it's nearby, but it hasn't hit my particular part of the city yet.
Does the mask actually interact with facial hair? Like, is that a real thing?
Well, it wasn't really damaged, but yeah, one of my masks, it was was pretty soft cotton or something, not cotton, I don't know, whatever the material is they use, the gauze or whatever, and it really was getting kind of torn up by my goatee. So I,
It is an interesting thing to see the idea come around finally. Andrew Yang, if you're listening, you did it.
yeah, and
Congratulations, buddy. You didn't make it in the presidential race, but you did. Your idea lives on through Mitt Romney and others. Trump even has gotten on board with this now. So it's UBI Freedom Dividend coming to a taxpayer near you apparently. Are you gonna get this
yeah,
check too, Cha? Since you're a
I,
taxpayer,
yeah, I need to look into that because I
you need to
definitely,
look into
I,
that.
absolutely, because I'm freaking paying like American taxes and Korean taxes over
Hey,
here. So like,
I would get your check, get paid. Absolutely.
yeah, um, and yeah, and I've certainly lost money from this because I got fined or whatever for canceling my flight ticket.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah, I
yeah,
didn't really expect to buy a month's worth of groceries all at once. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I've spent a little more than usual.
Yeah, and so I'm just curious how we're gonna have to apply for it, or like what kind of stuff, like, because it's I don't know if they're gonna. It sounds like people are debating means testing it, and they don't know how much it's gonna be, and it sounds like it's only gonna be a one-time thing, right? Or
Yeah,
at least
right.
initially that's
It's
the
not gonna
plan.
work.
So
It's not gonna
it,
happen. It's gonna be more than one. I guarantee it. It has to be. Like,
yeah,
no way people are gonna be made whole with $1,000 check. That's no way that's happening. When you're telling people not to leave their house for weeks on end,
hmm,
$1,000 check is not gonna do it. And jobs that are gone, like businesses are just gone, like gone, not coming back. Some businesses they'll come back, they'll hire back their people. Some businesses that was it. They were in dire straits anyway. They can't survive
hmm,
this. They might restart their business. They might restart a different business. They're not.
hmm,
This business isn't. This business isn't happening.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, $1,000 a month isn't gonna make some people whole, but some people are probably gonna come out ahead from where they usually are with this. So.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you if you happen to like be okay beforehand, then it's gonna be fine for you. But I don't
Well,
know.
no, I
Means
mean,
testing seems bad to me. I don't. It's gonna take too long. It's gonna be arbitrary. It's gonna let people look down on the people who do get it as the takers. Give it to everybody. If the rich people feel so bad about it, let them tear it up or give it to some charity or something. But yeah, if we're as long as we're printing money anyway, just give it to everybody.
yeah, yeah, I don't know. It's complicated. I just think like means testing would take too long because it's probably going to be a thing where you're going to have to be like, like when people were trying to figure out how to get on Obamacare the first time, they all had to go on
Yeah.
the website and like
No,
input all this information and like
don't do
compare
that.
it, contrast the different plans and stuff. And it's like nobody got time for that. Most of us probably, it's a undue burden. I don't know. I don't know. Once again, though, I'm trying to conceptualize if we have a Democrat come in next year, just the shape the economy is going to be in at that point is just
Hmm.
incomprehensible.
Yeah, it's
So
it's going to be a whole different world by the time. But yet, once again, we've got, we'll have if, assuming Joe Biden probably the nominee at this point. Although Bernie's still in, so we could still watch those debates, Cha.
yeah, we
um,
could. I just I that's oh boy, that's in a whole nother conversation. Yeah, I you know I don't know. I think I heard somewhere that he would have to win like 40% in every state remaining to be the nominee. So I don't know. It's I don't know. I think like I don't know. I don't want to be a downer or anything, but I think like you know Joe Biden and the Democrats. Like I don't know. It's I've got a lot to say on it for sure. Um, you
you
know,
can save your
like
fire
this.
on that if you want to. We can talk about that next episode. I just kind of wanted to
Yeah.
talk about coronavirus mostly, but
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So yeah,
because I feel like that's a whole nother a whole nother train of thought here. So, but
yeah, yeah. Well, gosh. So you've got a month's worth of food then, huh?
something like that. Yeah. I mean, the way these kids eat, who knows how long it'll actually last? But Yeah,
Yeah.
we did some pretty big shopping trips. You know, we just moved to a new apartment anyway. So we moved all our stuff right before all this happened, and we bought a bunch of furniture, and we got another baby coming next month too. So we got some bunch of stuff to go with that, and then so we're pretty good on like staples at this point. We did some big Target shopping trips. We did some Kroger shopping trips. We've got some perishable food in the fridge, some stuff in the freezer. We got some tin cans. We got some shelf stable things. We got some water, so we're pretty good. There are a couple of worst comes to worst, there are a couple ethnic grocery stores that are in walking distance right
Hmm.
here, and we also have CVS still. Of course, the Marsh, as you know, sadly closed. Otherwise, that would be right over there.
Yeah, I
Um,
was I was surprised how disappointed I was by that the last time I was
Oh,
back
believe
there.
believe me, it was very disappointing for us too. But there's
Yeah.
still places that we could conceivably get food. We're just trying to minimize our exposure for the time being. So
Are you guys still in the same complex?
yeah, we're just in a different part of the same complex here. Just has an extra bathroom. Our new place does. So
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. I just remember when I went back there, I think it was in 2014, like when I went
yeah,
up there and like the first thing we did was went over to the marsh and stuff and I just got some sushi,
yeah, I
you
remember
know,
that. Hmm.
and it was so convenient. It was like, oh, they got, sushi. It's not, the best sushi in the world or anything, but it's just kind of like it's a nice thing to have.
Yeah. Well, it was
And then
super disappointing when that happened. Yeah.
And then in 2017, I come back and you're like, yeah, we don't really have anything nearby that we can, shop at. You can go to the CVS and buy some food there. I'm like, you think they got sushi?
Doubt it. Doubtful. If they do, you
Yeah.
you don't want it.
Yeah. Perhaps not. Yeah, perhaps not. Yeah. Well, I don't know, Bob. What about some hot stock tips? What
Okay,
should I
let's
invest
let's
in when
let's
we?
let's let's hear it. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, well, it may be too late to buy low on some of these, but I would say whoever makes Purell, whoever makes Lysol, whoever makes your toilet papers, definitely hot option. Paper towel manufacturers, big
Hmm.
big stocks to
Yeah.
get. Apparently,
Some of those
Amazon's hiring
investment.
at 100,000 people. Domino's is going crazy right now, hiring drivers. Anywhere that delivers food right now is probably a good bet. Um,
Yeah. But
yeah,
I'm not.
yeah, that stuff's going up. Let's think about things that are down now that will go up later. That's the thing to
That's
think about.
that's that's what I'm more interested in. I think it's too late.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, they could announce a cure tomorrow, theoretically. They won't, but they could. And then, who knows if these guys are going to get stuck with like overproduction abilities or
yeah.
something. I don't know. I'm not a
I
investment
would
minded
I would
person, but
bank on I would bank on the large hotel chains. If you want to go that route, I would say Marriott is probably a good one. Not that I know anything about any of these companies, but I would say whoever the large hoteliers are, I would probably bank on them being bail. Any industry that you think is definitely going to get a bailout. I would,
I think
and
the
the cheaper
airlines.
down. Airlines was another one I was going to mention. Yeah, yeah, definitely. They're not going to let those ones fail at all. So I mean, even though chips are down now, I don't know about cruise ships. Cruise ships might be done. We might be done with cruise ships after this. I don't know if they're coming back. They're not even patriated in the United States, and most of their crew isn't even American. So who knows if they'll actually get a bailout? I wouldn't count on that necessarily, but I do think airlines, hotels, big hotels, not your mom and pops. I don't know about them, but
Hmm. Yeah, I'm slightly disappointed because even though I know that they're basically like floating slave ships filled with viruses and stuff, like maybe it was Titanic or something, but I've always had this fantasy of being on a cruise ship. I mean, it's so cool. I mean, you're sleeping in a bed, but you're on the ocean. You could go out and get a drink or a meal, but you're in the middle of the ocean. Like, I mean, it's a cool concept, right? Like, I
yeah.
don't know, maybe someday, but maybe not.
Yeah, right. Who knows? Yeah, maybe they will get a bailout. Who knows? I mean, I saw some people, even some people we went to high school with on online on a booze cruise, even like last as early as recently as last weekend. So who knows? Maybe if they
Yeah.
open these things back up, people will be like, "Hey, the hot Groupon deal, let's go."
Well, Bob, lightning never strikes. Lightning never strikes in the same place twice. Although I don't know if we can compare a viral outbreak that's spreading over the entire world like a zombie apocalypse to lightning strike, but
Yeah,
it's
right.
yeah. It's. I mean, it maybe is more like the equivalent of flying the kite with the key in the thunderstorm or whatever. But
That's a funny way to
yeah.
put it. But yeah,
So we think airlines and hotels.
that's my guesses. I mean, anywhere that like the chips are down now, but you know they're gonna come back. That's what I would think about. And things that are like essential to modern life. Like we're not gonna like go back to like not having airplanes. We're not gonna go back to not
Yeah.
having hotels. Like that's not gonna happen. Like
iPhone.
yeah, true. But are they really down now though?
I don't know.
See, I don't know. Like that's a good one. Yeah, I think that's a good thing to think about. But I don't know how much they're hurting. Right? I feel like people are probably purchasing more devices like that right now than usual. Maybe they don't have the like money to do it as much, but I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. No, I'm just joking. I'm saying they're like a essential part of modern life.
Well, they are at this point. I mean, if kids are going to have to do all this homeschooling and e-learning and stuff, that's going to be essential. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking about this. Like because I had talked to my grandfather about like, investing and stuff last time I was back in America. And he said, well, you may be ready, but I would hold off right now because he says we're like, something like 8 years into an upward market and everything. And he says these things kind of go in 10-year cycles or something. And like, we're kind of due for a correction. And then at that point he would buy. So
Hmm.
I just need to figure out if this thing's going to be like you know, a, just a blip on the radar where there's a short opportunity to buy, or if it's going to be like a 10-year Great Depression kind of thing where if I throw some money into the market now, I won't see it again for another decade.
Well, if you listened to Eric Trump, you would have bought like 3 weeks ago, and then where would you be?
Yeah. Well, I don't listen to the Trumps for anything, so obviously. But yeah, I don't know. I do think there are some opportunities out there. Well, speaking of investing my hard-earned cash in something that like I've heard tell through the grapevine that there may be some Rob Burgess Show merch in the
Yeah,
outs here pretty soon.
yeah. I'm trying to get that together. Maybe I'll do that with my virus money. See if we can flip that.
Yeah, yeah, take some money to make money. So what kind
Absolutely.
of items are we talking about, Bob?
I think shirts are definitely in the offing. I was also thinking about mugs, maybe some stickers. I don't know. That's all.
Yeah,
That's what I had in my mind. What do you think?
I don't know. I think all those things are good, but I think like those are the standard fare kind of things. Like I'm thinking like if there's something else like outside of the box that we could put in there with the Rob Burgess Show, logo on it. I don't know what it would be, but I'm just saying like you want all the things that a regular merch shop would have, but then you want something that's just kind of crazy, right?
Well, I'm all ears, Chow. What do you got in mind?
I don't know. I'll use my Corona quarantine time to think about it, but I don't know. Like, what kind of thing could you buy that you'd be proud to have your name on?
It's funny because they
Yeah.
have this service now in America where it's like I forget what the name of it is, but like you can have your car wrapped in logos for stuff, and I don't know if they how much they pay you a month or if it's just like you get free car insurance or something, but like I've seen these people like just driving regular cars around with like advertisements on for like quite like sports betting, and it's like how much are you getting paid to do this? Like I don't think it's them who like have anything to do with the business they're advertising. It's just they've agreed to allow their car to be used as advertising by the business for some stipend of some kind. I'm not sure what it would take to get somebody to do that, but apparently it's enough for some people. So
Yeah. Have we reached peak capitalism yet?
it's getting close. It's getting close. We're all socialists now, though, Cha.
Yeah. I wasn't there something like I don't know if it was a fictional thing or if it was like a reality program where you could get like a company's logo tattooed on your body or something. And
Mm.
I don't know. I think that might have been like a dystopian like sci-fi sort of thing or something. But
Yeah, I don't know. That sounds about right though. But I do have some quarantine things to watch. Ash and I have been watching. So
hmm
let's see, we got High Fidelity, the series. That was good. We
okay.
finished with that. I would highly recommend that. We also have been watching Love Is Blind on Netflix. Have you seen that?
No, what's that about?
All right. So it's a reality show. I don't usually watch reality shows. I don't usually watch dating shows, but this is actually interesting because they get two groups of people, one group of guys, one group of girls. They go to this retreat of some sort where the guys are segregated from the girls. They're
hmm
in between the two camps of the guys and the girls are these pods. You don't get to see the other person, but you can talk to them through like a screen or whatever. Like the screen is like you can't opaque, you can't see it through the other side. So you have all these dates with the other people, and then if you propose to the other person, you say you're going to get married to the person who you've not seen yet. You can
Oh
then get to
God.
meet them, and then you get to go back to the real world, and you have to get married within 30 days.
Or what?
I don't know. You're contractually obligated, I think, from what I can tell in the show.
Oh well, the
Um,
contract says. I guess I better.
it's pretty interesting to see. Obviously it's a reality show. It's not a documentary, so obviously things are played up. But it is interesting to see how different people react when it's like you don't know who the other person is physically. I think I think they had to guarantee people a certain amount of hotness that the other person would be,
Trust,
otherwise they
trust us.
wouldn't do it.
Trust us.
Uh,
She's gonna be at least a 7. Okay.
Exact. No, I think that is exactly what they said. Because all these people, there's no one. You know what I mean? It's not like beauty comes in every size. No, I think I think the creators of this were had pretty stringent standards about what level of physically fit, attractive, conventionally attractive. You know what I mean? They don't allow much of your quirks, your eccentricities, your whatever. It was pretty standard issue for like people, which I guess was good. You don't want to pull a fast one, although it would have made an more interesting show because if somebody had like elephantitis or something, it's like, hey, guess what? It's like you might not want to see that, but it's an interesting concept. We haven't gotten all the way through. We still have like 2 episodes left.
Yeah.
But I would
Well,
recommend watching that. It's strangely compelling television. So
well, speaking of reality TV, I'm like watching the current season of Survivor, which is awesome. It's season 40 because they do 2 seasons every
oh
year.
my goodness, wow.
Yeah, yeah. Every 6 months they have a season basically, and so,
Huh.
and this is an all winners season, and so like I mean these are the people like,
Wow.
they're all pretty wealthy or whatever because they've already won the $1 million one time, but like, you know, like that doesn't guarantee that they're all perfect players, but generally speaking, we're seeing like levels of play that you usually don't see on a year of first year players and stuff. So it's pretty cool. Like last week's episode was incredible. Like I was so proud of this woman Denise who took out Sandra, who's a 2-time winner. I mean, it was just like the most Machiavellian thing and stuff. It was so brilliant and stuff what she did. I was like out of my seat cheering. So so that's fun. But like I was thinking about like, I mean, because you're talking about like, oh yeah, everybody's like at least a 7 on this show or whatever. But it's like, it's kind of like I was thinking like, reality TV loves to fuck with people. It's like once a season on Survivor, they have like the Survivor, what can you say, the Survivor auction where
Mm.
they give everybody like $500 and they go and they can like combine their money if they want to, and they get different foods and stuff, and then they have to bid on it and stuff. And if they feel like people aren't bidding enough, they just end the auction immediately or whatever. So everybody's always bidding, but then sometimes they'll have like a covered item, so you don't know what's under there. And I don't understand it because people always bid really hard for it, and I would back off at that point. But like sometimes, like half the time, it's like something really awesome, like a steak and a beer or something. But then the other time, it's like balut, which is like a Filipino food, which is like a partially developed fertilized egg that has been pickled
Mm.
with all the bones and some feathers forming and like web feet and the bill and all that, and you've got to eat it. And I was like, oh my god. So I'm surprised this like Love Is Blind show isn't kind of pulling some like that, if you know what I like.
Mm.
whatever the dating equivalent of that would be. It's like, surprise. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's been like enough of a challenge just meeting the parents of the people, like, because obviously they are meeting the families of the people once they get to know each other, and it's like, not only are you like, hey, here's my fiance, also we met on a reality show, also we have to get married in 4 weeks. So it's like this cascade of like news that's like hitting their like extended families, because I think they knew. Also, they didn't. That was the other thing. They didn't get to have their phones with them
Hmm.
while they were in the pod situation, so they were totally cut off from the rest of the world. So
Hmm.
they haven't even been able to like update their families on anything during this time. So it's like all their families knew was that they were going away to be on this reality show. Who knows if they even knew what the topic of the reality show was? The people seem pretty surprised to find this
Yeah.
out, but I don't know.
Some parents probably pretty relieved though. Real
Yeah,
talk.
yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah, it's
I'm
like,
sure some of them were like, "Hey, when is our daughter going to settle down?" Well, it's like, guess what? 30 days from now, all your dreams will come true, or maybe
yeah,
they won't.
yeah. There's probably worse ways to do it. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know
mean,
though. That
Ash and I were talking about it. It almost does make a compelling argument for arranged marriages,
yeah.
because I mean, I've heard and Ash has heard that people that are in arranged marriages, on average, are actually happier than people who are not. So I don't know if it's just like we need to make the best out of a situation that may not be ideal, or if it's like it's actually like external things aren't as important as we think they are, or something. But
Or if it's like our parents will continue to hit us if we're not happy.
yeah, exactly. Maybe that's it too. The
No, I'm
beatings
just
will
kidding. I've
continue
heard
until
that.
morale improves, right?
Yeah, I've heard that too. But like, I don't know. I just think like, I mean, I don't know. Like the people I like are not the people always that people around me think are the best for me, and the people that they like for me,
Yeah,
I often find uh, I don't know what's the word, unacceptable, or I don't know.
sure. I mean, you're trusting people around you to have the same tastes in many different categories as you would, and even if somebody maybe externally like you tick the boxes or whatever, if it's just not chemistry, it's not like you can force that. So
Yeah, and I think there's like physical chemistry too, or whatever too. It's like you can't. I mean, I think there's a lot of attempts in society to totally erase that, and it's like no, you know,
that matters.
like beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and you know, my tastes are different from somebody else's necessarily, maybe, and so it's like no, I don't want anybody else choosing, and I know it's temporary or whatever.
Mm.
I see some of my ex-girlfriends, damn. So, but, but still, I want to, I want to have, I want to have like at least going in, I want to have what I want, right?
Sure.
Mm.
But Chai, you're still a single man. Maybe you don't know what you want. Maybe someone else has to tell you.
Yeah, I don't know. That may be some people's kink. Yeah,
Tell me what
but
kind of spouse I should have. Tell me again.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I've been a very indecisive boy.
You need to make a commitment.
I do, I do.
This is perfect, Chai.
So yeah. Oh well, trying to think about like, I mean, I've got like, by the way, I've got $20 writing on this season of Survivor too, and right
Oh,
now, remarkably, I'm in the lead. Apparently, I don't
sweet.
know how long that's going to last.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I've done this. I did this a couple years ago, 2 or 3 times, and every time, like, I lost so badly that I thought everybody else was cheating and stuff. But I don't know. Anyways, I'm doing okay right now. We'll see how it goes. But as far as like, coronavirus watching stuff, I recently watched. What did I watch? I watched Contagion, which has newfound popularity. It's an amazing movie. Have you seen that?
What, Contagion? Yes, I think I saw it when it first came out on like home video or whatever. So
Watch it again. Watch it again.
why?
It's because it's like a fucking documentary these days.
Do you think I want to watch a documentary these days? No, I don't.
Bob, it'll help you prepare for what's coming.
Really? So.
I think so. Yeah, but I hadn't seen it until about 2 weeks ago, and I was amazed by the movie, and it was just like so much of it was exactly like what's going on right now. It was so, it was interesting. So.
No, I remember. I remember enough of it to know that I don't need to see it again right now.
I also rewatched recently Outbreak from 1995 with Dustin Hoffman and Rene Russo and
Yeah. How did that one
Gifted.
hold up?
It's really,
I don't
know,
remember it being like spectacular. I remember it being okay.
I think it terrified the hell out of me when I was 12 years old, that fucking
Sure.
monkey. But yeah, it's still creepy and scary and disturbing, but it's still kind of got like it's very much a piece of its time, I guess we could
Sure.
say. Like, and there's something about the 1990s with the military, right? Like, there's something about the military, the way the military was just portrayed, or I don't know. I think there was still some sort of like a kind of a revisionist post-Vietnam view in Hollywood of the military in the 90s that kind of disappeared after 9/11. Somebody should write an article about. I don't know. He's like, you have to bomb the town, man. Yes, sir. We are going to bomb the town in America. Yes. Okay. Don't do it. I'm going to fly my helicopter right at your plane, and I'm not moving. Sir, we have detonated the bomb over the ocean. I think it was wind shear, sir. Yes, sir. We were returning to base. It's just kind of like this, like, I don't know. There's something about the portrayal of the military in the 1990s that is so weird. These
like
days.
overly generous, you mean, or?
It's critical of the military, but it's critical in a weird way. It's kind of like the problem is that they follow orders too much or something, and that, I don't know. It's like it is a criticism. I don't know. Somebody should honestly, somebody out there, if we've got college students listening and you're trying to figure out what you should write your, history/film studies/ whatever major, what you should write your dissertation on or something. There's something to be mined there. Portrayals of the American military pre and post 9/11. Okay, take it, run with it. You got my blessing.
You don't even have to give credit.
There's gold in them hills. Okay.
Okay. Fair enough.
And there's also something else like during the 90s, I think, which was very much a part of the movies, which was like this real concern with the family unit, right?
What do you mean?
Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, the family must get back together. Like, they're thinking about divorce, but that's not what they really want. They really love each other. Nobody really, there was no abuse. Nobody was, drinking too much or anything here. Like, it was, by the end of the movie, they're going to realize, I don't know. It's very much a thing, like where, or like some kid, like the parents are fighting and they're going to get a divorce, but then they don't. Or, in this one, Rene Russo and him are like fighting over who's going to keep the dogs when really we all know they should both keep them, right? It's that kind of thing. So it's like, so that was a concern. I don't know. There was just a lot of wacky stuff going on in the movie that was kind of like peripheral.
You try to write a movie with dramatic tension, child. Let's see what you come up with.
Yeah. When she watched Jim bludgeon the neighbor to death, she knew it was finally irrevocably over. There would be no more second chances. This was it.
Oh, man. Never mind, Joe. I forget I said that. Don't do it.
I don't know. I think we've got a different, we're in a different era now as far as movies go. I mean, okay, I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm looking at my bookshelf here and I see the book Gone Girl by, what's it, Gilliam or whatever, Gillian Flynn. And I haven't read it yet, but the movie was fucking amazing. Mm-hmm. And that was one of those movies. It's actually very fortuitous that I just happened to notice that book because, like, we're talking about, families having to get back together. And spoiler warning, the family does get back together at the end of that movie. And it's like, it's just such a, it's not a hopeful thing, which it would have been back in the 1990s. So, It's kind of like a dooming thing.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, that was
I
a
don't
good
know.
movie. I need to watch that one again, maybe.
Yeah, I want to watch it again too. The acting was just ridiculous, like so good, so
Yeah.
crazy.
Ben Affleck. Neil Patrick Harris was in that too, wasn't he?
Hmm.
Hmm.
I can't remember the female lead actress's name.
Oh yeah, directed by David Fincher.
David Fincher,
Oh
good director.
yeah, Tyler Perry. Forgot about
Oh,
that.
is that wait,
No,
who
that's
is
the Tyler Perry. You know
I don't know who
Medea?
that is. Haven't seen it. I know it's like
You know who I'm talking about
an
at least though, right?
African American grandmother.
Yeah, played by a guy. Written all the
Okay.
movies. Tyler Perry. He was in
Uh,
he was the most recent, I forget which Alex Cross he was, but he was the most recent Alex Cross also, I believe.
I don't know. I don't know who Alex Cross is.
You didn't see Along Came a Spider or
Was
any of
that
those movies?
was that
James
Morgan Freeman?
Patterson. It was in that incarnation, yes.
And like, who was the female lead in that one? It was
Oh
what's her
gosh.
name? From Kentucky or something?
Along Came.
Uh, God, it's on the tip of my tongue. I want to say Ashley, but it's not Ashley, is it?
They only had room for Morgan Freeman's name on the poster, so I'm looking.
Ashley, not Ashley Hudson. No, Ashley. Oh God.
uh, Ashley Judd?
Yes, that sounds
Is that
right.
who it was?
I think so.
I don't know.
Isn't
The,
it?
the cast the cast is in order of appearance, so it's difficult to
How
tell.
egalitarian of them.
I know. Let me look. No, it wasn't Ashley Judd. I guess it wasn't. Huh.
Was it not?
No, I don't think so.
Hmm. I feel like
Monica
I didn't see
Potter?
that movie. Who?
Monica Potter? No,
I
I
don't
can't
know.
tell. I'm looking on the poster. Anyway, he was whatever the most recent incarnation of that Alex Cross series based on the James Patterson novels, which used to be played by Morgan Freeman, was then played by Tyler Perry, who also plays someone else in this movie. That's the only reason I started talking about it. So.
Okay. Never, here it is, Bob. I Wikipedia'd it. The Along Came a Spider was the sequel to Kiss the Girls in
Yes,
1997, which
yes.
starred Ashley Judd and Morgan
Okay.
Freeman. So that's
Gotcha,
what I'm that's
gotcha,
where I'm
gotcha.
getting my signals crossed with.
Yep.
I don't think I properly saw. I feel like back in university when I was living there in Forest Dorm at
Hmm.
whatever the 10th floor of Forest East or whatever, if it still
Hmm.
exists, and they had the TV channels, like the university channel, where they like every month they had like a loop of like 5 to 10 movies that would play or something that were out then or something, and
Hmm.
that was one of those movies, and I probably watched it halfway a million times, but never sat through it properly.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Um, I tried rewatching Stephen King's The Stand, and the beginning was amazing, but like then it rapidly devolves into very like aggressively bad acting.
Yes. Yes, I would
So
have to agree with that. The beginning was very startling, I thought. So yeah, I had it taped
yeah.
off TV back in the day, but yeah, I thought it could have been a better short movie, maybe, and maybe not made for TV, into maybe some
Hmm.
different direction, different acting could have helped. But yeah, yeah, and I mean the book's not perfect either. Let's be honest. I read it when I was 12, so maybe I was a little more taken with it than I would be now. So.
Yeah. I'm like, I mean, I don't know. There's something about men from Mitchell who grew up reading Stephen King, right? Like, I
And
think
I
some
feel
of our
like I
other.
feel like Southern Indiana has a very rural Maine feel to it, just from what I've seen in his books and
Huh.
movies. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I read The Shining like in high school or university. I think in university I read The Shining, so that's the only one I've read of him.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, what books are you gonna read, or have you been reading?
I'm trying to read. What is it called? The girl with the dragon tattoo.
Hmm. How's that going?
Um, it's remarkably good so far, but it's like 600 pages, and I've
Yeesh.
gotten bogged down. But
Yeah.
I can tell just from the first chapter, I can tell that the writing is solid and everything. So
Mm.
And I rewatched the movies recently. Was that a David Fincher joint there as well?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that guy, I think he's an outstanding director generally. And that movie was outstanding. And I also found the Swedish versions as well. And they made all three movies apparently at the same time, pretty much in 2012, I believe. No, 2005 or 2007, 2009. I forget. I'm getting dates mixed up. But I
Right.
watched the first one of those, and it was
Mm.
also really good. A little bit of a different flavor, like I think the Elizabeth Slander, whatever her name was, she was good, maybe as good, maybe almost better than the other one. Was
Mm.
it Rooney Mara or something?
Rooney Mara, yeah, that came out 2011. Girl with a Dragon Tattoo. Daniel
Yeah,
Craig. Rooney Mara.
it's it's criminal that they never made a sequel to that. Although they did make one in 2017, which was the girl in the spider's web or something, and I made
Mm.
the mistake of watching that. It was
Oh no.
utter garbage. Utter
And not
garbage.
not not a David Fincher joint, I'm assuming.
No, all different cast, all different actors. Like everybody was underwhelming. Like the Elizabeth character was horrible.
Mm.
Like it was an action movie. I don't know. Anyways, it's an interesting book so far. I'm like two or three chapters in. It's pretty interesting because like so far it's about this journalist and stuff who gets wrapped up in this slander or libel scandal. So you may enjoy it as a journalist or whatever. So
Oh
that's
well.
that's interesting.
Yeah, for sure. But
Um,
any quarantine playlist selections for us?
probably. Let me see. What do I got? The hits. The hits. I did find something a few days ago that was kind of interesting because it's one of those videos on Facebook that is like, you've got kind of like a 15-second clip of sound or something from a certain song, and everybody's doing the same move to it, but they're like doing their own take on it.
Hmm.
You know the kind of thing I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Uh, Hold on, let me see. What was this song called? Oh, well, I recently re-listened to Bjork's Aurora, which is an
Mm.
amazing song. I hadn't thought about it for years, but it's quite good.
Yeah.
This other song I listened to recently that was kind of interesting was called, I think it was called Absolutely Anything. Hold on, I'm scrolling through my YouTube feed here that I've been watching recently. Um, well, let's see. Yeah, I think it's Absolutely Anything. Yeah, it's by a guy called CG5
Mm.
featuring OR30. It's called Absolutely Anything.
Hmm.
It's quite interesting. It's a little bit overproduced, maybe, or something. I don't know if a music purist would enjoy it. I enjoyed it. Um, and I've been, to some degree, I've been going back to the gym, trying to stay in shape, and like, doing my 6 kilometers on the treadmill, trying to keep my, cardiopulmonary situation in good condition as much as possible. But
Hmm.
so I've got some songs for that. Like Bob, I mean, do you go to the gym at all, or like, do you even
I
lift, bro?
not lately. It's closed.
Oh
Uh,
shit. Okay.
yeah.
Like,
But
what
I've
do
been
you
trying to
listen
do
to?
stuff.
Like,
What's that?
what do you listen to when you're at the gym, or like when you're in that situation where you're trying to like, get pumped and everything?
I like extended versions of kind of funk and disco and classics. There's one DJ I always like on YouTube called DJ Disco Cat. He does these extended remixes of classics from yesterday. So that's good. Just anything that's like a good solid groove that doesn't really quit for a period of time is usually good for
Hmm.
me. So
Yeah. Well, yeah, I find myself gravitating quite often towards video game soundtracks.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's a good
So,
idea.
so like a lot of times when I get on the treadmill, like one of my starting tracks is Marilyn Manson's Resident Evil main title theme.
Wow.
If you've heard that,
Oh.
if you ever go back and rewatch, and this may be a good coronavirus movie, is the original Resident Evil from like 2001 or 2002 or something. It's actually
Mm.
like an awesome zombie movie. Everything that came after it was absolute dreck, but the first one was quite solid, I thought. And this theme song is amazing. It's kind of like, it's got I'm not a music person. I can't describe music well, but I would say it has a feeling appropriately enough of descending down into the earth, right? Which is appropriate because they take this train to go down into this hive or whatever under Raccoon City and stuff. So it's an awesome theme, but it's got a really kind of a driving kind of like, I don't know. It's awesome. Let's see other things. Recently, also I've been listening to kind of on the opposite end is Grand Theft Auto 4's intro song called "The Soviet Connection," which really has kind of an ascending sound, I would say, if I had to describe it a certain way. But it's like it's winding up towards something, but it's like very dark and kind of like, I don't know, orchestral, but in a like kind of a modernized way or something. Max Payne 3 soundtrack by a group called Health. The song is called Tears. It's got a really driving beat, quite good. So those are some of the ones I've been listening to for sure. And also the entire MechWarrior 2 soundtrack is amazing.
Yeah, I think I heard you mention that one in the past, but yeah, I'll have to check that out.
But definitely.
Yeah. One video game soundtrack I've been rocking lately is the Katamari Damacy, because I got that game out of storage after all this, after our move, and then we're like, oh, I'm going to be in for a while, may as well try rolling some things up.
Fun game.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun game, but yeah, it's a good soundtrack too. So.
Interesting. I don't know about the gym though.
Maybe, I don't know. You could pretend you're rolling something up as you're on the treadmill. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Rolling up these love handles, hopefully.
Oh, God.
All right. Well, anyways, Bob, yeah, those are my music recommendations. So I probably better let you go and everything. But
awesome.
Yeah. Well,
let's do that again real soon. I'm sure we'll have time. So.
Yeah, we can. Let's talk politics next time too, because there's some hard truths that need to be said. I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a very depressing time, and I'm somewhat of two minds, but I'm kind of coming around to one mind on it, I think. So.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm looking forward to talking about that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, keep you and your family safe, Bob, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Have a good night.
Yep, you too.
Bye-bye. Join the Rob Burgess Show mailing list. Go to tinyletter.com/The Rob Burgess Show and type in your email address. Then respond to the automatic message. Also, please make sure to comment, follow, like, subscribe, share, rate, and review everywhere the podcast is available, including iTunes, YouTube, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play Music, Twitter, Internet Archive, TuneIn, RSS, and now Spotify. The official website for the podcast is www.therobburgessshow.com. You can find out more about me by visiting my website, www.thisburgess.com. If you have something to say, record a voice memo on your smartphone and send it to therobburgessshow@gmail.com. Include voice memo in the subject line of the email. Also, if you want to call or text the show for any reason, the number is 317-674-3547. Until next time.